G'day and sweaty carb. Well, today we spend so much of our lives on the internet, right? So we're so interconnected, but this means we're also connected to, well, let's call them assholes, right? People who want to do the wrong thing by us. So Brad Melrose gave a fantastic talk about how to protect yourself online, because we get hacked because we hack ourselves.
Basically, that's the nuts and bolts of it, yeah. You do it to yourself.
And one of the biggest flaws is curiosity.
Exactly. The hackers play on human traits, specifically curiosity, getting you to do things that you normally wouldn't do because you're curious about what's at the other end. Click for this cute cat video. Oh, I want to see the cat video. That wasn't a cat video. Uh-oh, now what do I do?
And so what do you think the biggest, simplest way to protect yourself is?
Use common sense. If something seems wrong, it probably is. Don't let curiosity be the better of you. Don't click on links in emails. Don't open attachments in emails. That'll go a long way. And make sure you've got a decent backup of your data. Make sure it's off-site protected, maybe in the cloud that does versioning. Make sure that you've got a copy of your data, so if you get hit by ransomware or something, you have a recovery point, because paying the ransom is the wrong approach, likely not to help you.
And simple tips like I have a different password for I think everything I've got a different password or password variation on, and that's very important.
Yeah, you should never use the same password on all the sites, because if one site gets compromised, all the sites get compromised. So use a different password on every site. Make them nice and long. Keep them simple so they're easy to remember. Maybe have a password formula if you can figure out how to do that, to try to minimize your online footprint, so in the event you do get compromised, only a small piece of your life gets compromised, not all of it.
So one thing I was interested in is that the length of the password is much more important than the variety, because nowadays you've got to have exclamation points and symbols and capital letters and all that sort of thing, and that apparently that's a myth.
It's an old way of thinking. It used to be, people used to think that making them more complex was the way to go, and at the time it probably was. But now that computers have gotten faster, they can crack short passwords. So a short, complex password's a lot easier to crack than a really long, simple one. Longer is better. 20 characters or more, and it's going to take centuries for somebody to hack the password, whereas an 8-character password can be hacked in days.
I sometimes use foreign words in my passwords. Would that help at all?
If you're using foreign characters like Thai characters in a password, that will help a lot, because computers trying to hack it might not use those characters. They might use the ones that they're expecting you to use, so that might be more secure. But a lot of sites aren't going to be able to handle the extended Unicode passwords that Thai characters, for example, use, so they may not be valid in the password in question. You may not be able to use them.
So in fact, something like supercalifragilisticexpialidocious is technically a better password than hashtag ABCD, exclamation part, capital A.
It would take longer to hack, but I wouldn't use that particular password. But yeah, anything long like that is way more secure than anything with a whole bunch of cryptic characters. We've spent a long time trying to memorize these cryptic passwords, which are very difficult for humans to deal with, but easy for computers to guess. But something that's very long can take a considerably longer time for a computer to guess, but we can remember them a whole lot easier. So it's just most security professionals haven't caught up with the thinking. There's basically a set of security best practices that are out there, and I never recommend that people follow best practices. You want to be different, and you want to do different things than what the best practices say, so the hackers aren't expecting it, and you're actually technically more secure if you're not actually following the blueprint they recommend.
Well, I can't recommend this talk highly enough. I mean, we're really privileged to get a deep and thorough expert lecture on how to protect yourself online, and use this a lot, right? Common sense.
Common sense, that's what it comes down to. Don't be a victim.
There you go. So don't help them to hack you. And one company lost how much money?
San Francisco Transit Authority lost $2 million because they had to shut down their systems for 2 days and give the fares away for free.
And paying the wrong construction company?
Yeah, that was tens of millions of dollars, because the money went to a hacker's account instead of going to the construction company's account that they were supposed to be paying.
Well, we could talk a lot about this, because you got a slightly suspicious email, which I noticed had a grammar mistake in, and was supposedly somebody. Tell a story who it ended up, where it ended up coming from.
I'm not sure. I don't remember which email you were.
Oh, this was the one where that you were trying to sell your place?
Oh, the condo. Yeah, it was got an email from a CEO of an oil company wanted to buy it. And I'm looking at it going, well, that seems strange, but I replied because anybody can want to buy a condo. And then I got an email back saying, click on a link here for more information. And does your condo fit what I'm looking for? And it was just wrong in every way. And then when I dug into it, it was, it ended up coming from Russia. So it's, not an oil CEO in the U.S.
Well, yeah, so via Belize, right? Yeah. So there you go. Really have a look at this talk because it's so important that you protect yourself online. Today we were privileged with Brad giving a talk. We're going to miss you when you go back to the U.S., but you'll be back.
Canada, not the U.S., Canada.
I'm now in trouble. He's never going to talk to me again now.
I wanted to make sure that got on the video. Canada. I'm from Canada.
Snip, snip, snip. Brad's going back to Canada for a while. And he's been really great for the club. And we'll see you next week. We're going to have very important talks on nursing homes in Thailand next week. But for meanwhile, it's goodbye and sweaty carbon. Don't get beat. Use your common sense. Don't get hacked, yeah? Don't hack yourself.
Sweaty cup.